is as a human being, what his past was, his childhood, his relationship with his parents, money, and so on. And why is he? Why is he Zayn Lambat? When I re-listened the episode, I realized how interesting this episode is. I hope you will enjoy.
We moved to the UK whilst I was quite young, and I've since sort of did all my younger studies in the UK. Once I finished university, I actually studied chemistry. Didn't really sort of uptake chemistry. Since then, I've kind of been involved with marketing. So I've started quite a few ventures. My biggest hobby and passion is that I'm a filmmaker. I make a lot of documentary films, a lot of commercial films. But aside from that, my expertise is marketing. And also, I absolutely love traveling and also run a travel company in Zanzibar.
Okay, that's interesting. We will come for that, why you chose that path. But at first, how was your childhood?
So my childhood was quite interesting, actually, because I lived in Malawi. And then when I was 11 years old, I moved to the UK. I had quite a sort of unique childhood where I grew up somewhere in Africa where everything is sort of open. In the UK and Western countries, I do feel like we are quite restricted in the way we can do things. Of course, in the UK itself, I'm sure you can imagine, we kind of see 4 seasons all in one day. The weather is absolutely horrible. You don't really have a chance to have your children out here running in the free. Whereas in Africa, it's quite different. You get to see sort of a lot of poverty as well. I think the biggest thing about my childhood was I felt that I was quite free, and it's really had a huge impact in the decisions that I make today.
How's your relationship with your parents?
My dad sadly passed away last year, but we had a very positive relationship. My father was very, very entrepreneurial. He ran a lot of businesses. He was always traveling. So I didn't really get to see him much as a child. I had a lot of respect for him in terms of what he'd achieved in life and the things he did and the decisions that he made, the people that he met. My dad was a very, very, very interesting character. He had a lot of sort of positive traits about himself. Because every time I meet people, they're like, "Oh, your dad was such an amazing man. He did some incredible things." On the other hand, with my mother, I'm very, very close to her. My mother, I see her as someone that she's made me who I am today. And I guess everyone has a relationship with their mother, right? Where your mother is your rock. I'm very close with my mother. I still see her every day. I can only say thanks to her for what I've done and what I've achieved in my life today.
How's your relationship with money?
So that's an interesting one. Of course, with Mohammed Lambat as my cousin, I've learned a lot from himself as well. But I think, with money, a very interesting thing. A lot of people say money is the root to evil. And some people say no, money is the root to evil as well. So where do you find the balance, right? And I think a huge impact a huge influence on how you manage money really comes down to the financial literacy that you have. And I feel it's really important that in schools, in our education environments, we should learn about financial literacy, and it's hugely important in the decisions that we make with money. So I personally, for example, my relationship with money in the past, I was someone that I did constantly want to make money. I didn't know how to keep money. I knew how to make money. And I think the real change in my life happened when I finally decided how to start holding on to money and how to start making wiser decisions with money. And instead of constantly spending, keeping the money and actually feeling as if you have money. Because I feel a lot of people know how to make money. A lot of people have amazing jobs. A lot of people do amazing things with their careers. But the only problem is that there's no balance between actually keeping the money and making the wise sort of decisions on making like the wise investments, the wise decision on spending that actually make you wealthy, as they say.
Very interesting between keeping money and getting money. There's a big difference. I think the challenge is keeping the money and how to keep the money.
Exactly.
I think so. I think, and I'm convinced that your behavior is a big effect of how you keep the money. Because there are a lot of rich people out there, but they don't know how to stay wealthy. So yeah, richness and being wealthy, there is a big difference between them. So what are you afraid of?
So I'm afraid of being on my deathbed one day, or extremely old one day. Inshallah, I hope we all live long, healthy lives. But I'm afraid of not taking the chances when I was younger. I've met so many old people in life, and a lot of the things they say that, I wish I was younger, I wish I was your age, I wish I could do this, I wish I could do that. I'm old now. I can't take those risks anymore. And I think I'm at that stage in life where I just want to wake up every single morning, do something that I'm extremely happy about, something that I'm proud about, something that I feel that will eventually make an impact to the world, inshallah.
If you were not afraid of anything, what would you do?
So, if I was not afraid of anything, I would actually love to be a marine biologist. It's quite an odd thing, actually. So, I've always loved sea life. Currently, I love free diving. I love swimming. Whenever I get a chance to see, I'm always sort of underwater. But I don't know. The ocean was something that really, really scared me. It was something where, like, I feel like it was so unexplored, and it was. I just hated going in the water. And then, alhamdulillah, I learned how to swim. I actually learned how to free dive as well. And I feel like if I was younger and I wasn't as scared if I was young, I would have loved to sort of study marine biology. I'd have loved to study sharks. I love sharks. I would have loved to really understand the science behind why, some people are actually not afraid of them. They actually swim alongside like some of them, what we perceive as the most deadliest sharks in the world.
Yeah, I'm afraid of them, especially because of the movies. Their legs are eaten and these stuffs. But interesting. If money is guaranteed for life, for you and your family and your generation after you, but the condition is you have to choose a job, what would it be?
So I feel that if money was guaranteed and the job, it's a very interesting one because there's quite a few different ways I see it. But if I was to pick one, I'd probably choose to be the president. It's quite ambitious, but I feel like a lot of our leaders, a lot of the people above us influence decisions a lot in terms of what people around us do. Of course, I'm at that stage. I do believe that you can't please everyone. But I feel the reason our world is in such a interesting place, I must say, there's a lot of war, there's a lot of negativity. Of course, see a lot of positive in the world as well. But I think that massively comes down to the leaders that are placed in the governments around us. Like, someone that hugely inspires me was someone called Nelson Mandela. He was someone, who made some really great decisions for South Africa. And, they're a country right now that are evolving rapidly fast, easily becoming one of the most developed countries in Africa as well. Of course, his leadership stems away from it. So I feel a leadership role for me would be something that I would love to do, where I would love to be alongside the people in power and influence positive decisions in this world.
You said that the leader is the problem. I had the same opinion until I changed my opinion about, I think not the leader is a problem, rather the people, the folk. I think the leader they don't have much power to change the whole folk or the whole nation. I think people inside the country, they have to have the willpower to change and develop and to evolve. And I'm sure not the leaders are the problem, rather the people.
Yeah, of course. Interesting you say that. So how, if you want me asking you a question, how do you feel that you can evoke that change in people through the right leadership?
I think rules. Rules are very important. In Germany, we have a lot of rules. I think this is the thing why people are so strict and follow like are disciplined. But when I was in the UAE for a holiday, I do remember this when I was a kid. It was just for a holiday, and we were in the hotel. The taxis weren't coming for a reason, and then the row started really to increase. Like we were about like maybe 200 people. I don't know why, because I was a kid. And then the taxis came after like 2-3 hours, and everyone was running. Like there were no rules anymore, and people turned to animals. Like they didn't care about the others who didn't have a car. They just entered any taxi, and they didn't care about the row, about the numbers, like who was waiting. And I think like if people don't have any rules, don't have like any discipline, I think people can turn to animals, can turn to anything, and don't have like there's an Arabic term which is called domir, like I do care about other people. It's vanished like completely. So I do think people, not the leader, have to.
I agree. I think from that perspective, I definitely agree. I think at the collective, right, people, the right leaders, because I just feel like we're in a world right now where everything and a lot of decisions leaders are making, it's all based around money. It's all based around sort of economy. But I think it's quite sad because, like, I know you say the people, but I feel like we're getting a lot more leadership roles right now where people just feel the leaders just don't care. So
That's right.
I guess it depends which country you're in as well. I guess it depends, like, because I'm from the UK. UK is a country where like there's so many strong rules around, and they are sort of rules a lot around what people follow, what they do. And I feel even if you were the most uneducated person in the UK, there's a lot around you for you to see what the rules are.
That's true.
Yeah. Yeah, and a lot for you to see, sort of understand and get by in life to understand what the rule of living in the UK is. And it's an interesting one. I think this is a conversation that could go on for a very long time. But yeah.
That's true. Zayn, in one word.
For me, one word: impactful. I'll tell you why. Everything I do in life, through all the different choices of business I choose to make, the different ways of funding myself financially, I have to make an impact. I have to change someone's life in a very, very positive way. And it comes through the travel that I do. It comes through the filmmaking that I do. And yeah, I just want to see a positive change in this world one day, inshallah.
If you have your own heart in your hands, what would you advise it?
If I had my own heart in one hand, and if I was to say something to it right now, well, what I would say is just follow your heart. Literally follow what your heart tells you to do from a very, very young age. I know a lot of people say, there's a sort of point in life where it's incredibly difficult to make a decision, but I'm someone that I believe in failure. I believe failure is such an important thing. It really defines who we turn to be as we grow older. And that comes from the decisions we make as children as well. I know a lot of people said to me that, oh, when you go to university when you're 18, at the age of 18, it's incredibly difficult to make life decisions to decide what you want to do for the rest of your life. But, I'm someone that, I've made a lot of decisions in life. I've taken a lot of different paths in life. I'm someone that if tomorrow I feel like whatever I'm doing is not making me happy, I'll immediately start a career change rather than sort of thinking about it and deciding when would be the right time. So, that's all stems down from, young years. Follow your heart, do what your heart tells you to do. I feel when we're younger, we're a lot more ambitious with our ideas. We're a lot more creative with our ideas. Our brains are releasing a lot of, growth hormone where, it makes us take a lot more risks. Definitely do it. Definitely take it, and just always follow what your heart tells you to do.
I didn't write this question, but I'm curious about this question. If your father would be alive, what would he advise your heart?
So my father is quite interesting, actually, because it's a very interesting question because I don't actually know. I'll tell you why. Because I'm someone that I went down of course, I educated myself, alhamdulillah. And then I've constantly started doing lots of different things, but my vision has always been sort of impact, right? So I've always wanted to sort of do things and change people's lives. Of course, in the beginning, when you perceive sort of life and business with that vision, you don't actually think how you're going to make money. You're just like, hey, let me just do this. I don't really have a plan for how the finances are going to come in. Whereas my father is a lot more structured in life. He was an entrepreneur himself. He was a minister at one point in his life as well. And he obviously, his sort of life was very, very structured. So I think up to this stage, my father was still around. I genuinely do think he'd probably say to me, have a bit of a plan, do things where you're sort of seeing like the future of what the rewards are going to be. But yeah, I think I've learned a lot over the years. When I first graduated, I didn't realize the sort of direction I was heading and doing some things. I literally enjoyed doing something and I started it. For example, when I graduated, I didn't really enjoy my graduate job. I didn't really feel like, not saying that having a 9-to-5 job is bad, because I have a lot of friends that are successful doing that. I just didn't really enjoy the structure of like, having the weekends off, working the weekdays. Because when I was at university, I studied during the week and I worked on the weekends, and I've always had a life where I was very, very, what can I say, doing things in very sort of inconvenient times. So I made a lot of choices when I graduated. I then started like a fitness company. I then started traveling a lot. And then I started, started like a travel company most recently. So I think if my father saw me, he'd think my decisions were very, very erratic. But I think he'd really appreciate the position that I'm in right now. And I feel he'd be very proud of me. My father didn't really say much, but he's someone that just look at me and he'd be very proud of like the impact that we've been able to sort of make in this world.
I ask this question because when you talk about your father, I felt the energy of admiring him.
Yeah.
And interesting. What's the best moment in your life?
The best moment in my life. So in 2019, me and a group of friends, we cycled to Hajj from London. So we cycled from London to Saudi Arabia. We went through 17 countries, from the UK into Europe, and then into the north of Africa and into Saudi Arabia. It was amazing because it was one of the biggest risks that I took in life. It was something where I didn't know where I was staying tomorrow, what I'd be eating tomorrow. Literally put myself in a position where, like, even if I had all the money in the world, it wouldn't help me because I was literally in the middle of nowhere. So it was a very, very, very life-changing moment for me where every day was different. Of course, traveling with a group of 10 people as well every day for about 2 months nonstop teaches you a lot about patience, teaches you a lot about, respecting others, teaches you a lot about differences. So I think that one trip alone really made me understand and appreciate certain moments in life, moments about people, understanding the differences that we have and respecting each other. And alhamdulillah, at the end of it, we got to perform Hajj as well. We went sort of incredibly viral all on social media, all over the internet. We were quite lucky to be invited to President Erdogan's palace as well in Turkey. So that was quite cool. And lived to tell the tale.
Interesting. I think you will learn a lot of other people too. And my grandpa used to say, you will learn who that human being is when you travel with him, and when you deal with him regarding money.
Yeah,
money and travel. Because my grandpa used to live in South Korea, and
interesting.
He's not Korean, but he used to live there. So I do have like a connection to South Korea due to him and due to my mother, because she always had a connection to her father. But it's interesting what you did. Any regrets?
No regrets at all, actually. My only regret is not taking sort of certain chances when I was younger, when I had the ideas in my head. I was always afraid of fear. I was always afraid of failure. But I guess in life, we should always take each step by not regretting anything whatsoever. Never regret anything, even like if you feel like me, where the chances came to you when you were young, but you didn't take them then. It's all a part of life, right? It's all a part of mindset training, where the more you grow older, the more wiser you are going to be with decisions, the more you'll realize that opportunities only come once. Just take them whilst they're there.
Yeah, people do say when I get older, the risks are decreasing. The risk or the amount of risk I can take is going to be much less. Because they're more afraid of taking a risk. And I'm afraid of reaching an age where I'm scared too. So I just have to have a mindset shift. But I'm also afraid to stay like anyone who is old and say, no, I'm too old, I can't change anymore, or I can't take any risk.
Yeah, certainly age should never be a barrier. I think age is something that is literally just a number. And I keep telling people, I think it was, especially when I was in the, especially now when I was in the fitness industry, now that I'm in the travel industry as well, fitness and travel is something a lot of individuals feel as if like it shouldn't be something that you should do when you're older. They feel a lot more fearful to do when they're older. They feel as if they should have made the decisions when they were younger. And I think through meeting individuals and learning how to sort of switch their mindset, it's quite inspiring to see actually how much it actually changes their life when they realize that the age is not a barrier. Being late in life and maybe perhaps not have experienced those things when you're younger, it should never ever be a barrier. And seeing their sort of mindset completely switch is amazing.
I will ask you the last question. Why are you? Who is Zayn Lambat? And you told me about your past a bit, and who you were, and how your relationship with your parents was, and with money, and your childhood. And I'm interested, like, why did you choose this path? I texted you because your page were pictures of traveling, and you are really doing this as a job. So as a consequence of all the decisions you did, why are you you?
So, yeah, so very interesting question. So why am I me? I was once upon a time in life, I was under the influence that, we had to either be an accountant or a doctor or a lawyer to really be respected in life. Because, when we're young, we chase community, we chase acceptance, we chase respect. And sometimes we're quite fearful of doing certain things because we feel we won't achieve those factors. We're afraid what people are going to think of us constantly. When we speak, when we do certain things, what's this person going to say? What's that person going to say? And I think what really changed and what made me who I am today is when I learned to ignore those things, when I learned to not worry about what other people thought, and I respected my own feelings and how I actually felt. Because I think traveling opened my eyes to a lot of things. It made me really influence the decisions I make financially and with business and around people today as well. And the thing is, I never ever thought, alhamdulillah, like traveling would become a job. Just this year, I've traveled to 10 different countries, most for work. And I'm going to be entirely honest, I'm super grateful for the position that I'm in as well. But, for everyone listening, I just want to be clear about one thing. I know traveling is work and it seems incredibly interesting. It is, and I'm not going to deny that. But I get this connotation where, you're constantly traveling, you're so lucky. And I think this is just something for the listeners to understand that it may seem that I'm lucky, but I think we should all be grateful for what we already have. The side of traveling that people don't see about myself is I'm constantly working when I'm abroad. I don't really actually get time to explore the country as much as well. So as much as that is amazing, it is a job as well, right? So, but I really, really enjoy it. It's something where I've learned to see so many different communities. I've been to, just this year, I was in Lebanon. I've been in New York. My travel company is in Zanzibar as well. And, I was in Sri Lanka as well. And just being in all those different countries, you get to see so much. You learn so much about culture. You learn a lot about simplicity as well. And you learn a lot why individuals are achieving so much in their heart and mind of soulfulness just through simple things. And yeah, I hope that answers your question about why I am me.
I'm convinced that the childhood affects the adulthood, and you told me that you were living in Malawi. You said
Malawi,
and then in the UK. And when someone moves a lot, I think I think maybe that's the reason why you're traveling a lot too. You never settle in a place. And I do feel this because I had a similar path. And because I'm in Germany right now and I'm thinking how can I settle somewhere? It's too hard because I had this when I grew up. Born and raised here in Germany is something else. But on my life path, we moved a lot too. So I do feel this, and I don't know if your childhood had an effect till now.
Yeah, no, you're right. You're right. I agree. And I think there's a lot of things that we feel in adulthood that we don't actually realize. But then, it's instances like yourself, what you've just mentioned right now, where you've given me a chance to sort of reflect right now and realize, wait, maybe it could be down to that. Maybe it could be down to the fact that I was constantly moving around as a child, and it's impacted sort of who I am today and the things that I do today as well. Because I'm a strong believer that upbringing is such a huge thing in many children. It's something that is so powerful yet so delicate that, you know, the littlest sort of diversion can completely change who you will be in the future, your behavior, the way you will treat people. And yeah, you're right. Childhood is a huge thing. And, you know, inshallah, you know, one day when we're all blessed with lots of amazing children, we can help them make the sort of right decisions that they do, inshallah. So yeah, definitely childhood has played an important factor. I agree.
Last question, although I'm asking the last question, but this is really interesting.
Yeah.
So you're a traveler, and you, of course, maybe, I don't know, because I do have this friends that stayed all their life in Germany or in the UK. Do you see a difference between you as a traveler and your friends who who always settled down in the UK or the same country?
Yeah, definitely. I think there's a huge difference. And to be honest, if I'm honest with you, as sad as it sounds, I think you get to a point in life, later on in life, where you know, your parents always said to you, your friends are not always going to be there forever. And I think I'm not really a lot in touch with a lot of friends that we've all taken different paths right now. I mean, we're still good friends, but, you know, I think traveling makes you realize like how much your mind actually opens up. I feel when you're not traveling, you don't really have like a sense of appreciation about sort of different people. Like I remember when I used to say to some of my friends like, hey, I'm from Malawi. They're like, oh, he's in that country in Africa. Like, do you not like live in mud huts or anything? I'm like, no, like this is where traveling really changes you and really makes you sort of appreciate that there's a lot more out there in life than what I don't even necessarily agree that it's with the media. It's just what your brain perceives you to think. Like when you put a Google image search of just Africa, you'll see a lot of well, not anymore. It used to be like that, but you'll see a lot of poverty. You'll see a lot of, you know, poor individuals. And naturally, a lot of people think that that's what Africa is. And I think traveling really makes you sort of be a lot more open. And I feel even when you are traveling, you are put in I mean, if you travel the way I do, you're put in a lot of uncomfortable situations. And I think, of course, like I strongly agree that one of the biggest things in life is your ability to make decisions. And I try and do as much in life as possible that will influence my decision making and make me make a lot more powerful decisions. And I feel traveling has made me do that. And I feel with a lot of the friends and a lot of the individuals that I meet who may have not traveled, who may have not taken the risks that I've done, they're a lot more calculated with the decisions. And don't get me wrong, it is very important to be calculated, but I feel you're not taking those risks in life that will really make your life go from normal to incredible.
Okay, I'm done. Good ending. I don't have anything else to say.
No, awesome. Thank you very much for your time.
So we're done. I don't know if you want to say something, or you said you have a travel agency, maybe as a service?
Yeah.
People can go there and book.
Yeah.
Book any. What can they do with that travel agency you have? Can you talk about
that? So I run a travel company in Zanzibar. Our website is explorezanzi.com. So I've spoken a lot about the things in life that have really influenced sort of how travel has inspired me. So me and one of my very close friends, one of my best friends, a guy called Abui, we've started a travel company in Zanzibar, and we call this a Zanzibar experience. So we run a lot of private trips, but our USP and our unique selling point is the group trips that we do. So we sell 7-day experiences, we call it, to Zanzibar. where you go out to Zanzibar and every day is different. So we'll do like yoga on the beach in the mornings, to renovating a classroom in a village, to, you know, spending sort of evenings in front of a bonfire, talking about life, about business, about entrepreneurship, relationships, everything to make it a very sort of soul enriching trip. I feel that's massively important. In life, we're constantly sort of fed, you know, we have to make a lot of money. We have to have the best job. We have to, you know, find the most attractive spouse. And, you know, there's a lot of pressure in people where they're sort of sold unrealistic goals, and the real things in life that matter, we're not being taught. You know, things like financial literacy. You know, if you're not making a lot of money, it's fine, but just learn how to keep that money. And this trip combines everything, and it will, it just gives you that opportunity just to be around a group of like-minded individuals where you can build a future community. We actually ran our first group travel trip in September. And it's just crazy. Like, you know, we had, you know, 25 people. We attracted a lot of women as well. So we had 20 women on the trip, and it's just crazy to see all the connections that they've made, how they've changed post that trip, the friends and the community that they've built.
Interesting. I'm done.
You should join us.
Yeah, I traveled to the northern side of Africa.
Oh, awesome.
It's Africa is it is beautiful. I didn't have my opinions about Africa, but I'm sure like if someone travels, their perspective changes.
Yeah.
Thank you so much.
No, thank you very much, Sava. You've been amazing. Thank you very much for reaching out as well. And I hope you have an amazing day.
Thank you. Assalamu alaikum.
Walaikum salam. Take care.